We're going to be reading another spooky pasta. This one's about SpongeBob SquarePants. This one's called Negative Zone Sponge, and it's about a haunted SpongeBob episode, like the SpongeBob bootlegger or Squidward suicide. So let's see how it holds up against its other competitors, and let's begin. I'm sorry, why did I do that? Let's dig in. SpongeBob is an awesome show. No one can deny that. But have you ever had the opportunity to see any episodes that were canceled, left for dead, never to be seen by the public eye? I had the opportunity to see a lost episode of SpongeBob, but it's the worst experience I've ever had. So the story begins with me playing Mega Man 10 on my PlayStation 3. I was raging hard. I was stuck on the Wily Stage 2, so I decided to take a break and watch some TV. All that was on was the reruns and stupid things like Jersey Shore. I went to look for an episode of SpongeBob because it was one of my favorite TV shows, after all. I went to my DVD collection of episodes to find nothing. I of course thought this was odd and went to Goodwill to find episodes and relive my most nostalgic memories. During the drive, I noticed a lot of little inconveniences, but nothing major. Anyway, when I got there, I looked for it. All I could find were movies I knew nothing about and some stupid film called Food Fight. Anyway, I looked and searched for anything of interest. My eye caught something that looked like what I was searching for. I was overfilled with joy until I picked it up from the dark shelf. It was dusty, like no one touched it in years. It had a black and blue color palette. It said SpongeBob Seasons 1 to 3, or written in black marker. Maybe it was a bootleg, but I didn't care. It was what I was searching for. I took it up to the counter and the lady looked at me like she felt bad for me. She told me how much money it was, and it was only $10. It was like a dream come true. I wouldn't know the suffering I was about to go through. So I took it home and put it in my DVD player. I was surprised to see no scratches at all. It took me to the episode select and it had SpongeBob theme song in the background, but it was oddly slowed down and heavily distorted. I felt uneasy at first, but it wasn't too bad. I hit play all, and a brief flash of SpongeBob's face appeared. I merely shrugged it off, as stuff like that happens all the time. The first episode began like normal, but it had a few skips here and there, but nothing major. I was enjoying the episode until I heard knocking at my door. I yelled, "Who is it?" but no answer. I then answered the door, assuming it was just the mailman. I saw a square shadow from under the door. A bit creepy, but it might have been a package, I didn't know. But there was absolutely nothing besides a weird-looking SpongeBob plush toy. I thought this was really creepy at first, but I continued to think positive. I picked it up and it felt warm, not like a good kind of warm either. It was like I was touching an actual human face. I felt uneasy, but just threw it on the couch next to me. I continued the episode, but instead of the episode continuing like I thought, it had an abrupt stop. I thought I hit pause on the remote. I went to grab it, and the episode continued, except everything had a blue and black color palette. I was really freaked out by now, but I felt like I had to trudge forward. A title card appeared, and this time it said, Negative Zone Sponge. I never heard of this episode before, and I felt like I was the only person who could experience, so I had to trudge on. For bragging rights, of course. It showed SpongeBob walking down the streets like normal, saying, "I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready," but in a very tired voice. He continues this for about 30 whole seconds, until he sees Patrick. He moves up to greet him, but Patrick turns around and says, "Get away from me, or he will kill you too," in a distorted and creepy way. SpongeBob runs to work and sees Squidward. The episode pauses for half a second, then it changes to a negative color palette. Nothing happens for a few seconds until he sees Squidward on the floor, dead. SpongeBob had bloody hands. I was incredibly surprised and felt like puking. It started raining outside. It wasn't just pitter-patter rain, it was a massive thunderstorm. I had to close all my windows because of how powerful it was. The entire time I was doing this, the TV was paused. I went back on my seat and I hit play. SpongeBob was on the floor, sobbing. He had tears in his eyes. He got back up, approached the screen, and said, "You have no chance. You will never survive. Give in a soft voice. And the TV turned off, and I felt extremely paranoid. I have no sense of security. I looked to the left and saw the plushie was gone. I took out the DVD and smashed it with a hammer. I then went upstairs to go to bed and forget this ever happened. I surprisingly fell asleep relatively quickly, but I had the most horrific nightmare I had ever seen. I barely remember what happened, but I had Mr. Krabs walking Sandy to her tree dome, but on the way, had appeared and murdered them in the most gruesome way possible. I can't remember specifics, and I don't want to remember them. I woke up and saw a shadow of SpongeBob and Patrick on my wall. I was freaking out the entire day after that. But weird stuff kept on happening. Abrupt thunderstorms, stuff appearing where they shouldn't be, and worst of all, I felt sick every day because I couldn't stop having that nightmare. I went to go play Mega Man 10 to try and beat Wily 2 and cool off after that trauma. Around where you fight the Octoball mini-boss, I felt something tugging on my arm. A cold, dead, sick feel of dread was rushing through me. The SpongeBob plushie was behind me on my bed. I had the negative color palette like in the episode this time, though. I was scared out of my mind. I rushed downstairs and grabbed a knife, tried to stab it, but every time I stabbed it, it sounded like the thing enjoyed its pain. When I finally murdered the thing, it said, "You will perish eventually. There's no need to delay the inevitable." I was kind of freaked out, but shortly after I put a dream catcher in my room and the activity stopped. I never had that nightmare again. I could watch SpongeBob without needing to feel a sense of dread and fear. I lived on to tell the tale, but when I returned the broken DVD to the Goodwill, the lady hugged me and said, "Thank you. You have broken the cycle. We are eternally grateful." Okay, that was it. That was the end. That was awful. So, I want to point out all the spelling well, there are more grammar mistakes than spelling mistakes here. It said, SpongeBob had appear and murder them in the gruesome way possible. I want to talk about some insane moments, like I took the DVD out and smashed it with a hammer, like, dude, like, where'd you get the hammer, man? Hammer, hammer man, hammer, hammer man, hammer. No. The plushie at the end, like, come on, that's literally the worst ending in the world. It's like it's Sonic plushie. Oh no, there's a Sonic plushie, and it's trying to kill me. But also, like, he doesn't elaborate at all. He just says a plushie chased him around and he stabbed it and killed it. Like, what, man? What is going on? Alright, it was also really short, just like the Nintendo Zero G. So, yeah, that was pretty bad. I also had I cut out a lot of parts where I messed up. Like, there was way too many parts where I went like blah, 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 and like whatever. I'll do like a blooper compilation at the end. So that was pretty bad. That was nothing. That was just awful, man. You could do better than this. I forget his name. I forget the guy's name on creepypasta.net. But anyway, that'll do it. Alright. I hope everyone has a good day, and goodbye. What's up, cops? Anyway, when I got there, I looked for it, and anyway, well, oh my god, Jesus. But anyway, when I got there, I looked for it. This is a tongue twister, man. But anyway, when I got there, I looked for it. All I could find were Anyway, I looked anywhere. Dude, I suck, man. I suck. Anyway, I looked. Anyway, oh my god. Anyway, I looked for. I hit play all, and a brief flash of SpongeBob's face appeared. I merely shrugged it off, as stuff happens like that all the time. What? Saying, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, in a very tired and bored voice, until he sees Patrick. He moves up to him to greet him, but Patrick's turn. He moves up to him. He got back up and approached the screen. Approached the screen, and said, "You have no chance. You will never survive. Give in." I took the DVD out and smashed it with a hammer. Jeez, jeez, man. Jesus, man. I surprisingly fell asleep relatively quickly, but I had the most horrific nightmare. SpongeBob had appeared and murdered them. I woke up and saw a shadow of SpongeBob. I felt sick every day. I mean, all day. I felt sick every day because I couldn't forget. Oh my god, man. I felt sick every day because I couldn't forget stop having that nightmare.